Greetings to UNISA Chancellor, His Excellency President Thabo Mbeki, UNISA members of Council, UNISA Principal and Vice Chancellor Professor Buleleng Ngabula, members of Senate, members of University Management and Extended Management, esteemed professors, members of the university community, respected guests, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Mputhi, our main guest and celebrant for today. On behalf of our Vice Chancellor, Professor Buleleng Ngabula, it is a great honor and privilege for me to welcome you all to Professor Mphuthi's inaugural lecture. Allow me to acknowledge Professor Zethu Nkosi, Executive Dean, College of Human Sciences at UNISA, Professor Monde Ntwasa, Distinguished Professor of Biochemistry, Department of Life and Consumer Sciences, College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences at UNISA. Let me take this opportunity as well to acknowledge Professor Mphuthi's beloved family members, friends and associates, colleagues, students, and all you who are in attendance. We really welcome you here, and we are grateful that you are here to join us during this important occasion. Thank you for attending this lofty academic celebration to honor eminence in scholarship as demonstrated by our own Professor Mputhi. Proud congratulations are in order for Prof. Mputhi on his achievement as he presents his inaugural lecture in celebration and recognition of his promotion to full professorial rank. This is the most senior academic position conferred by the university. This is a rank conferred only to industrious and resilient scholars like Professor Mputhi. As a university, we take such events very seriously, and we join Professor Mphuthi's family in their pride and joy, but also thank them for the support they offered Professor Mputhi throughout his journey. This evening's occasion provides an opportunity for the academic community to engage with Professor Mphuthi's work as he reflects on his journey. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Mphuthi's presentation is titled From Ground Zero to the Skies, Reflections on My Journey, Integrating Ancient Remedies to Modern Healing. Professor Mphuthi's title presupposes that even though traditional healing has been marginalized by the colonialists and their friends, there is still some good and benefits within traditional healing, and that is why he's talking about the integration of this traditional healing and the ancient, the traditional healing and the modern healing. Professor Mputhi invites us to join him in his reflection on IKS and its relevance during this day and age. Indeed, as the world is grappling with common and seemingly insurmountable challenges, amongst others the issue of climate change, to mention but one, the study of IKS is an imperative trajectory if we are to handle the challenges that we are facing as a society. Climate change is surely a modern challenge, and it could be that our forebears had a way of dealing with it. This study will surely assist us to tap into that wisdom. We are looking forward to listening to Professor Mphuthi's reflections as he taps into the lived experiences of our forebears in his endeavors to create a more prosperous and sustainable health systems. Stay tuned and listen to his lecture as he reflects on his journey with us and also shares the results of his study and his future plans, whilst continue to shape futures in the service of humanity. In today's proceedings, Professor Ngosi will hereafter introduce Professor Mputhi and will invite him to the podium. After Professor Mphuthi's presentation, Professor Ntwasa will follow to give his response to the lecture without further announcement. I now invite Professor Ngosi to the podium.
Professor Didi Mputhi, on behalf of the Chancellor of the University of South Africa, Dr. Mvuyelwa Thabo Mbeki, and the Vice Chancellor and Principal, Professor Puleng Nkabule, and the Acting Vice Principal for Teaching, Learning, Student Support and Community Engagement, and the respondent, Professor Ntwasa, who is a distinguished professor in the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences, and usingaye, Professor David Mputhi. I greet you all. Professor David Mputhi was born in Free State in a small rural town called Reeds. He was brought up by a single parent, the grandparents as well as uncle. In 1974, age 10, he put on his khaki trousers and a shirt, heading to a farm school called Modersras Plus School in Petrusstrain in Orange Free State. This was the year he did his substandard A until completing standard 4. Then he moved to Nta Primary School and he completed his standard 5 and he finished his standard A. Due to the financial constraints, he couldn't finish his matric because he was supported by the single mom who was a domestic worker. He was luckily admitted to a pupil nursing assistant course in a mining town called Velkom the next year. He started his nursing career in 1984 as an enrolled nursing assistant and was promoted in March to do the enrolled nursing course, which he completed in 1986. While doing his enrolled nursing course, Prof. Mputhi was also busy doing his matric part-time, which he affectionately calls streetwise matric. After completing his matric in 1989, he was called to do a bridging course, which led into the registration into a general nurse, which he obtained with cum laude. In 1992, at Mangaung Nursing College of the Free State, she continued doing his other nursing programs. In 2000, he did nephrology nursing, and he further went to do a diploma in nephrology nursing science at the University of PE. He further did his BA Care from the University of Johannesburg in 2004. Prof. Mputhi continued to work in the mines, where he was also tasked to oversee the Occupational Health Center in Mali and Tanzania. That never stopped him for acceding into his educational tests. In 2010, he completed his master's in nursing at the Northwest University, and his dissertation title was Coping Behaviors of Hemodialysis Patients' Families in Private Clinics in Gauteng. In this degree, he was exploring how families of hemodialysis patients cope with dialysis, where patients relied on prayers. In 2016, Prof. Mputhi completed his PhD, and the title was antiviral properties of wild deers, Artemisia afra, and vein rate, which is Ruta graveolens, as a combination therapy and its effects on the renal system. He investigated the efficacy of treating flu and the effects on the kidneys of the 2 medicinal plants that are mentioned above. Prof. Mputhi has worked in several hospitals, both provincial and private, and most of his time he worked as a nephrology and clinical and critical care nurse. He has got a vast experience in clinical nursing and has been an operation manager for so many years. He's been in Anglo Gold Ashanti Healthcare in Carltonville. He was also a manager of Occupational Health Center in Mali as well as Zambia under Anglo Gold Ashanti Health Services. Prof. Mputhi has also worked at Fresenius Medical Center as a unit manager where he oversaw kidney and dialysis center. He was later promoted to Fresenius Training Academy manager, where he then joined Wits University. He's been involved in so many different spheres of teaching and learning. We can mention nephrology. We can also mention Tanzania Heart Institute, midwifery in Mozambique under NEPAD, and then currently he's teaching health service management in the Department of Health Studies here at UNISA. Prof. Mputhi has supervised to completion 8 doctoral students and 12 master students, and he's currently supervising 27 doctoral students and 10 master students. He has published 31 articles, 2 books and 2 book chapters and 1 monograph, which are all published in accredited journals. His leadership roles include being chairs of departments, serving and leading some committees, whether it's a department, a school, it's a college. He has also supported the mentorship program from the College of Human Sciences. He has served as a president of the Renal Care Society in South Africa, and currently he's a board member of Allied Health Professional Council, and also has been invited to serve as a National Zoological Guardian Animal Welfare and Ethics Committee. Prof. Mputhi's research interest is in the following areas: indigenous knowledge systems, especially healing, nephrology nursing, occupational health nursing, health services management, as well as men's health. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as I ask Professor Didi Mputhi to ascend the podium to deliver his inaugural lecture titled From Ground Zero to the Skies, Reflections on My Journey Integrating Ancient Remedies to Modern Healing. May we give Prof. Mputhi a round of applause. Thank you.
His Excellency Dr. Thabo Mbeki, the former President of the Republic of South Africa and the Chancellor of the University of South Africa, the Vice Chancellor and Principal of UNISA, Professor Lenkabula, the Acting Registrar, UNISA, Prof. M.M. Sepota, the Dean of College of Human Sciences, Prof. Z.Z. Nkosi, Prof. Ntwasa, school directors, chairs of academic departments, academic colleagues, students, family, friends, ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you all. Today is a momentous occasion, and I stand before you with great respect as I celebrate my inauguration as a full professor at the University of South Africa. Standing before you, I pinch myself, wondering if really it's me. The journey has been one of dedication and passion, and I'm deeply honored to be recognized for my contributions to the field of indigenous knowledge systems and health. As we come together today, it is only to recognize my achievements, but to reflect on the profound significance of IKS in today's world. The IKS represent the collective wisdom, traditions, and practices passed down through generations, embodying the knowledge of countless communities. In my exploration of this rich field, I will draw upon a wealth of literature and documents, including the World Health Organization's Indigenous Medicine Strategy, the enlightening work of Prof. Mputhi in his book, From Baobab to Mosquito, and resources from Department of Science and Technology. These resources provide a solid foundation for understanding the relevance and importance of indigenous knowledge system in our era. To truly appreciate the depth and significance of IKS, it is crucial to examine their evolution over time, as they are not static, but they are dynamic, adaptable, and responsive to the changing needs of our communities. My research has been instrumental in shedding light on this evolutionary process. The findings will be discussed later as they encompass my PhD journey and IKS. Throughout history, IKS has been an integral part of local practices and indigenous wisdom. However, in recent decades, this knowledge has not gained recognition as a formal strategy to enhance primary health care. The World Health Organization acknowledged the importance of indigenous medicine through its Indigenous Medicine Strategy for 2014 to 2023. This strategy underscores the vital role that indigenous knowledge systems play in improving healthcare outcomes and reducing health disparities. Truth be told, we all know that indigenous medicine is practiced by over 80% of the people globally, and this is no difference in the case of South Africa. As I delve deeper into the discussion today, I will uncover the layers of indigenous knowledge systems and explore how they have evolved to address contemporary challenges. According to the Department of Science and Innovation, as well as the University of Venda, indigenous knowledge system in South Africa can be understood through several layers. These layers encompass knowledge, practices, and beliefs developed over generations. These layers include local and empirical knowledge, resource management systems, social institutions, and cultural values. IKS is deeply intertwined with the lives and belief systems of many South Africans, manifesting its areas like in health, agriculture, arts, and culture. In my own contributions, the aim was to bridge the gap between indigenous wisdom and modern health practices, promoting the integration of indigenous knowledge systems into the mainstream healthcare. Where it all started. It was in 1974 when a tiny young man aged 10 put on a khaki trouser and a shirt heading to a farm school called Modern Stress Plus School in Peterstein in the then Orange Free State. That was the year I did my substandard A until I completed my standard 4 in the same school. Then moved to Nta Primary School, which is also in the Free State, in a town called Lindley, and completed my standard 5. Further on, I moved to Pukala Junior Secondary School, same town, and I did my Form 1 up to Form 3. Due to being brought up by a single parent, my mom, who was a domestic worker, she could not send me to complete my matric. This brought me to realize what Mandela once said: education is the great engine of personal development. It is through education that the daughter of a peasant can become a doctor, that the son of a mine worker can become the head of the mine, and that a child of a farm worker can become the president of a great nation. It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another. Here I am today, a son of a domestic worker, having achieved the highest academic platform. Hence I titled my lecture, From Ground Zero to the Skies, Reflections on My Journey Integrating Ancient Remedies to Modern Healing. Son of a domestic worker, becoming a full professor. Becoming a maleness. In 1983, when I passed my standard 8, which was a junior certificate, my single parent, my mom, told me she did not have money for me to go to high school. My dream of becoming a medical doctor just withered in front of me like the morning mist when the sun shines. Then I saw an application from my former schoolmate who applied to the Ernest Oppenheimer Hospital, and the answer she got gave me an unexpected opportunity, as she was told that Ernest Oppenheimer only trained male nurses. Then I applied. I was fortunate to be called to come for an interview in January 1984, when my classmates were preparing for high school to pursue their Form 4 and Form 5. I was preparing for employment. I had never heard of a male nurse before until the day of the interview, which was on the 19th of January 1984, when I saw many gentlemen in white uniforms. Then I said to my inner self, one day I will be like them. And luckily, I was taken to training as an assistant nurse, which I was so happy. And the matron, the then matron, Mrs. Durant, told me, young man, you'd better work hard. Otherwise, you will have to go back to school should you fail the test in March. After passing the test, I was promoted to do an enrolled course, which was completed in 1986. At the same time, I was struggling with my streetwise metric, which I named streetwise B because it was done through correspondence. In 1991, I was admitted to do breeding course leading to registration as a registered nurse, which I completed in 1992. I then applied to University of Port Elizabeth, the now Nelson Mandela University, and completed a diploma in nephrology nursing science, and later completed midwifery at Krisani Baragwanath Nursing College. This was the turning point as I applied to do my baccalaureate curationis, education and administration, occupational health nursing science at Rand Afrikaanse University, the now University of Johannesburg. I applied for age-related exemption as I was given 6 months to prove that I could do the degree by the University of Rand Afrikaans. The degree was completed within 3 years. During the graduation, I kept asking myself, what if this is a mistake? Because I don't have metric like all other graduates. Completing my degree was a huge milestone and gave me hope for success. But after failing to complete the master's proposal at the same institution, which was a big setback, I started to realize my shortcomings of not having a formal desk-based metric. I then went to Peke, now Northwest University Potchefstroom campus, after being encouraged by one of my nephrology students, and completed my Magister Curationis. The no metric issue continued to haunt me, but I took a chance and applied for a PhD, which was from the year 2023 up to which was in the year 2013 and up to 2015. What a journey I had to travel during my PhD. However, within 2.5 years, I was ready to submit for examination as I was now having a burnout. Involvement in the indigenous knowledge systems. I'm here to talk about my involvement in this vast knowledge. I am diving headfirst into the world of indigenous wisdom and practices, a topic that has been around since time immemorial but has lacked recognition. In the modern world, we are all taught to place our trust in science, technology, and medicine derived from Western frameworks of knowledge. This is not to say that these systems lack merit, but we must also recognize that the health of individuals and communities cannot be solely defined by the practices and the principles of one culture or tradition. Indeed, there exist knowledge systems that have been passed through down generations within indigenous communities around the globe. These systems, rich with wisdom and understanding, offer profound insight into how to live in balance with the earth, preserve health, and prevent illnesses. Today, I seek to explore the importance of these indigenous knowledge systems in health, their relevance in contemporary medical practices, and the vital need to integrate them into modern health paradigms. The root of indigenous knowledge systems. The indigenous knowledge systems encompasses the collective wisdom of practices and beliefs held by indigenous communities regarding their involvement, regarding their environment, health, and well-being. These knowledge systems have been developed and refined over centuries, often through direct interaction with the natural world. They embody a holistic view of health, one that sees the body, mind, and spirit as interconnected and inseparable from the environment. At the heart of these knowledge systems lies a profound understanding of balance and harmony. In many indigenous cultures, health is not merely the absence of disease, but a state of well-being that involves physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health, as well as the cosmos. This perspective is captured in the belief that an individual health is deeply tied to the community and the environment they are based on. The stories, rituals, practices, and teachings that form this knowledge system guides individuals and communities in maintaining this balance. Indigenous knowledge practices as a holistic approach. Indigenous health systems emphasize prevention rather than cure. For centuries, indigenous peoples have utilized natural resources like plants, herbs, minerals, and other elements of their environment to promote health and prevent diseases. They have developed sophisticated botanical knowledge, understanding which plants possesses medicinal properties, when to harvest them, and how to prepare them for specific ailments. This knowledge is not merely empirical, but is deeply informed by cultural and spiritual beliefs. Healing practices are often linked to rituals, prayers, and ceremonies that aim to restore spiritual and physical balance. The use of indigenous herbal medicines is prevalent in many indigenous cultures, and this knowledge of healing from plants is typically passed down orally from elders to younger generations. These medicines are understood to work in concert with spiritual practices to promote healing. Healers, often known as shamans or medicine people, are highly respected members of their communities, trusted not only for their knowledge of herbs, but also for their ability to diagnose imbalances in a person's spirit or energy. Equally important, it is the role of community and social structures in indigenous health practices. Indigenous health systems often prioritize collective well-being, emphasizing that a person's health is inextricably linked to the health of their community. Practices such as community healing ceremonies, collective rites of passage, and shared responsibilities for care of the elderly and sick exemplify how health is seen as a communal endeavor. It would be a mistake to consider indigenous knowledge systems as relics of the past. These systems remain incredibly relevant in the modern world, especially as we face global health challenges. The increasing prevalence of chronic diseases such as diabetes, heart diseases, and cancer highlights the limitations of current medical paradigms that often treat symptoms rather than address root causes. Indigenous health systems, with their holistic and preventative approaches, offer valuable insights into how we might rethink our current healthcare practices. In the face of the climate crisis, indigenous communities worldwide offer valuable lessons on sustainability and environmental stewardship. They have long understood the interconnectedness of human health and the health of the land, water, and air. As modern medicine increasingly grapples with the health impacts of environmental degradation, the wisdom of indigenous people offers a vital counterpoint to a purely anthropocentric approach to health. Their intimate knowledge of ecosystem and biodiversity can inform more sustainable and ecologically attuned medical practices. Furthermore, indigenous healing systems challenge us to broaden our understanding of what constitutes effective medical care. Mental health, for example, is often understood through a purely biological lens in modern medicine. However, many indigenous cultures view mental health as intertwined with community, spirituality, and connection to the natural world. By incorporating these perspectives as a collective, we can develop a more comprehensive understanding of mental health that addresses not just the symptoms, but other underlying causes, including social isolation, disconnection, and trauma. The following publications also highlight how important IKS, or Indigenous Knowledge System, is. The publication was in 2022, which was done by Mputhi and Husseini. It addressed traditional medicine plants used by hypertensive patients in Belize. The other publication, it was by Mputhi and Chibonire, which was published in 2024, which actually addresses the indigenous man's perspective on long-acting reversible contraceptives. These two studies have actually shed a lot of light how indigenous people think about their own practices. Challenges and opportunities for integration. As I recognize the value of indigenous knowledge system in health, I must also be mindful of the challenges involved in integrating this system into the mainstream healthcare. One significant challenge is the risk of cultural appropriation. It is essential that we approach indigenous knowledge system with respect, ensuring that it is not commodified or misused. Indigenous communities must be involved in the process of sharing and adapting their knowledge to contemporary context. Another challenge is the historical and ongoing marginalization of indigenous peoples and their knowledge systems. Colonialism, the expansion of Western education systems, and the dominance of Western medicines have led to the erosion of many indigenous practices and disempowerment of indigenous healers. It is crucial that we, as a collective, work to undo this legacy of exclusion, ensuring that indigenous knowledge is recognized, respected, and incorporated into health care practices. Yet, these challenges also present opportunities. Opportunities for mutual learning, collaboration, and co-creation of knowledge. I take it that as a community, we are at the moment in history when interdisciplinary and cross-cultural dialogue can enrich both indigenous and Western health systems. By embracing the strengths of both systems, more inclusive, effective, and sustainable healthcare solutions can be developed. What vision do I have for the future? I invite you all to reflect on the possibilities that lie at the intersection of indigenous knowledge systems and modern health practices. Imagine a world where healing is not just about treating disease, but about nurturing the whole person, the body, mind, spirit, and community. A world where the wisdom of our indigenous ancestors is embraced and respected while also learning from modern science. A world where health is not only a personal responsibility, but a collective endeavor. This is the vision I have for the future of healthcare, one where indigenous knowledge systems are recognized, respected, and integrated into the global conversation about health. Let us embark on this journey with humility, respect, and a deep appreciation of wisdom that has been passed down through generations. In my PhD, I looked at 2 plants. My PhD was based on testing the commonly used medicinal plants to treat colds and flu, which were Artemisia afra and Ruta graveolens, with the title, Antiviral Properties of Veldeals, Artemisia afra, and Vein Raid, Ruta graveolens as Combination Therapy and its effects on renal system. These two medicinal plants were chosen based on their popular usage by Africans to treat colds and flus. The study was conducted in Griekenland in the town called Campbell among the Khoisan people. These people still use these medicinal plants more than Western therapies. And this knowledge is being passed to their children. Based on my nephrology knowledge, indigenous therapies are also looked at as causing acute kidney injury or failure. I therefore wanted to check if these two medicinal plants have antiviral properties and what effects do they have on their kidneys. These medicinal plants were prepared the same way the community prepared them for consumption of treating flu and colds. Two strengths were prepared, 15 minutes and 30 minutes of boiling times, single preparation and combination preparations. These decoctions were taken to the laboratory to test sensitivity against the flu virus. At the same time, 35 Sprague-Dawley rats were given different decoction strengths twice a day. These rats were kept for 21 days. The prepared decoctions were put in the fridge at a constant temperature. Urine output was monitored and collected daily and sent to the laboratory for chemical analysis. The findings were positive in that there were no effects on both kidneys and the livers of the rats after the histological examination. These findings then exclude these two medicinal plants amongst those causing kidney injury or kidney failure. In the laboratory at the same time, it was also revealed that both medicinal plants have the sensitivity to the flu viruses. This meant that these plants have ingredients that cure the flu. These medicinal plants were also used by indigenous people during the COVID-19 pandemic. Most people who used these plants reported recovery, some without even having to go to the hospital. The above findings were based on the complexity of the study that included the following methodologies: systematic review, empirical qualitative approach, in vitro testing, in vivo testing approaches. The findings can be found in the book chapter, the book Handbook of Research on Indigenous Knowledge Systems in Developing Countries, which was published by IGI Global. The chapter is chapter 16 with the title Hybrid Method Exploring Efficacy of Indigenous Management of Common Cold Through African Therapies. Now, let me look at the evolution of indigenous knowledge systems, a topic that's just not a historical artifact. It's been on a journey that makes even the most seasoned backpacker envious. From ancient remedies to modern integrations, indigenous knowledge systems have come a long way. You might wonder, what's the big deal? Well, we are not just talking about herbal teas and incantations. We are talking about a formal strategy recognized by the World Health Organization. Yes, that's right, even the World Health Organization is on board with indigenous medicines. If you think indigenous knowledge systems are limited to the Quailent village tradition, this is not the case. This is based on the information that Indonesia, as a country with around 400 ethno-cultural groups, each preserving their unique indigenous knowledge systems, is like a United Nations of indigenous wisdom. Imagine the debates over which herb works better for a headache. So, as I embark on this journey today, I remembered that it's not just about history, it's about the future of healthcare. And I promise there will be no test at the end of this lecture. Ladies and gentlemen, my journey into the world of indigenous knowledge systems has been a unique one, shaped by both my Western and medical training as a nurse and my profound recognition of the vital role played by indigenous medicine. It is this journey that has led me to stand before you today. I am honored to share some of the contributions made in this field. My background in Western medicine has provided me with valuable insight into modern health practices. However, it was my deep respect for indigenous medicine that sparked my curiosity and led me to explore the intersections between the two systems. Over the years, I have conducted extensive research and collaborated with supervised students who share my passion for indigenous knowledge systems. One of the highlights of my work has been the opportunity to test and witness the value of Artemisia afra and Ruta graveolens, umhlonyani or lengana in my language, an indigenous medicine herb with remarkable healing properties as stated above. Some of you might know that during the COVID-19 pandemic, which caught everyone off guard, most people went back to using the indigenous medicines, of which umhlonyane or lengana topped the list. This experience reinforced my belief in the efficacy of indigenous remedies and their potential to complement Western medicine. Through my collaborations with students, we have explored indigenous knowledge systems from various angles, deepening our understanding of the rich tapestry of indigenous wisdom. I consider indigenous healing practices as a bridge between our past, present, and the future because they offer innovation solutions to reduce poverty and enhance public health. Through the integration of indigenous medicine into the new forms of microfinance management implemented at the local level, we could empower communities and improve health access. As stated above, Indonesia, with its rich diversity of ethnocultural groups, serves as a poignant example of how indigenous knowledge systems have been passed down through generations. Each group has preserved its unique knowledge encompassing indigenous therapies as medicines. We can all truly appreciate the depth and breadth of indigenous medicine's contributions through the acknowledgement and celebration of this diversity. Definition and significance of indigenous medicine. Indigenous medicine is defined by the World Health Organization as encompassing the sum total of knowledge, practices, whether explicable or inexplicable, used in diagnosing, preventing, and eliminating physical, mental, or social diseases. This knowledge is often handed down from generation to generation, either verbally or in writing. Indigenous medicine, with its therapeutic practices, has endured for centuries, predating the development of modern medicine. What makes indigenous medicine particularly noteworthy is its intrinsic quality, unique and holistic approach, accessibility, and affordability. It resonates with a substantial portion of the global population, with studies showing that between 33% and 50% of adults have tried at least one form of indigenous medicine to cure one or other condition they suffer from. Its popularity arises from its effectiveness in addressing various health problems, which include the cure for person as well as the cure for the environment. As I navigate this intricate landscape of IKS, it is important to appreciate the value and versatility of indigenous medicine. It has its rightful place alongside modern medicine, offering a holistic perspective that considers not only the physical body, but also the mind, emotions, and spirit. This practice represents a bridge between past and present, and it is increasingly relevant in addressing the healthcare needs of our diverse and interconnected world. Now, findings from the studies. Indigenous medicine stands as a testament to the enduring human quest for healing. It encompasses therapeutic practices that have withstood the test of time, predating the emergence of modern medicine. Now, the findings in my study revealed that Indeed, the Khoisan, as the First Nation and the other African nations, are correct that the two above mentioned medicinal plants do have antiviral properties which are shown, which have been shown. The study also revealed that these medicinal plants have no effects on the renal systems, as there were no significant renal function changes in the blood connected after the end of 21 days from all the rats. Both the liver and the kidneys were harvested at the end of the term from all rats and were sent for histology. The result revealed no significant challenges in these organs compared to the control organs. This tells us that although people used the medicinal plants without any modern scientific testing, they had an intuitive knowledge of how to measure and to prepare these decoctions. A study conducted in Belize by one of my students, Dr. Danladi Chiroma Husseini, revealed that the Belizeans who suffered from hypertension relied on indigenous medication to treat their condition. Some used both these therapies concurrently, while others used only the indigenous medicinal plants alone. The study revealed that these therapies can be used concurrently to augment each other and not to complete. In my research journey, I have sought to embrace and apply the Ubuntu philosophy as a guiding principle. This philosophy underscores the interconnectedness of all human beings, recognizing that we are holistic individuals embedded within an indigenous social structure and culture. It acknowledges that we are in constant interaction and relationship with each other, with nature and the cosmos. A person, according to this worldview, is not merely a physical entity, but a being with body, mind, emotions, and spirit, interwoven within a broader social and cultural context. This perspective aligns with the belief that a person is not just a human being having a spiritual experience, but having a human experience as well. Our interactions and relationships with other people promote and uphold the Ubuntu philosophy, emphasizing our shared humanity and interconnectedness. Indigenous worldview. Indigenously, health is viewed through an indigenous perspective. It extends beyond the mere absence of the disease. It is a state of harmony encompassing the body, mind, emotions, and spirit, as well as the preservation of culture. In this holistic understanding, good health reflects unity and harmony within oneself, the broader environment. Illness from an African perspective is not limited to physical elements, but includes disharmony between the physical, mental, and spiritual aspects of a human being. It also encompasses the interaction and relationship between individuals, nature, and the cosmos. Illness may be attributed to contact with pollutants, dark forces, ancestral punishments, or natural and supernatural powers. In exploring indigenous knowledge system, it is crucial to embrace these profound worldviews, which emphasize the holistic nature of health and the interconnectedness of all life. By doing so, we gain a deeper understanding of the rich tapestry of indigenous medicine and its role in promoting well-being and harmony in our communities. Ladies and gentlemen, as I draw closer to the culmination of this lecture, I would like to invite you to reflect on some fundamental questions that lie at the heart of my exploration today. These questions challenge us to delve deeper into the essence of indigenous knowledge systems and their impact on our lives. Who are we? In our interconnected world, we must consider how indigenous knowledge systems shape our identities, beliefs, and practices. They are not just repositories of knowledge, but they reflect our shared heritage and diverse cultures. What was the death rate before the advent of Western medicine, and what is it now? This question prompts us to ponder the transformation that has occurred in our healthcare landscape. By understanding the historical context, we can appreciate the strides made in the healthcare, both through Western medicine and integration of indigenous remedies. Consider the absence of the statistics during that era. Why are we dying? This question challenges us to look beyond surface-level answers and explore the root causes of health disparities and challenges. Indigenous knowledge systems offers insights into a holistic approach to health, emphasizing the importance of balance and harmony, while the Western mind is directed at the bacteria. In closing, I want to express my deepest gratitude to each and every one of you for being part of this momentous occasion. Your presence here today signifies not only the recognition of my journey, but also the importance of indigenous knowledge systems in our shared pursuit of knowledge and well-being. I would like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to the individuals and organizations that have supported me through my academic and research endeavors. Your encouragement and guidance have been invaluable in shaping my path. As we part ways, I encourage all of us to continue exploring the vast realm of indigenous knowledge systems. Let us engage in open dialogue, foster collaboration, and promote the integration of indigenous wisdom into modern practices. The journey we embark on today is not a solitary one. It is a collective endeavor that holds the potential to transform our understanding of health, culture, and humanity. According to Spector, 1991, as modern medicine becomes more impersonal, people are recalling with some wistfulness old country cures administered by parents and grandparents over generations using natural folk medicine. Natural folk medicine represents one of the earliest human uses of natural environment and uses herbs, plants, minerals, and animals substances to prevent and treat illnesses. Let me take this moment to express my heartfelt thanks as I conclude. To God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit for the protection and mercy upon my life. I'm grateful to UNISA management for providing me with the opportunity, platform, and resources to pursue my research up to this level. Mr. Adam Kok, the Griqua community in Campbell, for sharing their valuable information with me. Mr. Jikele, may his soul rest in peace, the indigenous healer in KwaZulu-Natal. I would like to extend my sincerest appreciation to my mother, Sarah, who brought me up as a single parent and still taking care of me to this day. I also would like to thank my children, Luoka and Matapelo, for their undying support and for being the source of my inspiration. My only granddaughter, Mansadi, for always asking curious questions and keeping me as young as I look. My substandard A grade teacher, Mr. Lifun Hlapu, my 984E enrolled nursing group, and our class teacher, Mr. Sohote Cornelius Basi Polelo. All my other tutors and lecturers who contributed to shaping me into who I am today. My PhD promoter, Prof. Abel Pinar, and the Seboka community. My mentor, Professor Nkosi, for believing in me up to this level, for always saying it's doable. Professor S. Duma, for being a guide as well as a mentor. Professor Ntwasa, who agreed to be the respondent for this lecture. Colleagues who believed in me, my mentees that I have mentored, and amongst others, Professor K.L. Matlaba, who has progressed under my guidance up to the level of being a professor. My postdoctoral fellow, Dr. A.G.A. Mweshebenge, and all my students who have graduated, as well as those still pursuing their master's and doctoral degrees. The mentors who have been instrumental in shaping my academic journey, Dr. Haley Ace, as well as Prof. Mary Chabedi, who both saw academic potential in me. Your support and collaboration has been invaluable. Lastly, I want to express my gratitude to my family and loved ones whose unwavering support and understanding have been a constant source of my strength. As we part ways today, let us carry forward the spirit of curiosity, respect for diverse knowledge, and commitment to improving health and well-being for all. Together, we can bridge the gap between indigenous wisdom and modern science, creating a brighter future for future generations. This is my journey from ground zero to the skies, reflections on my journey, integrating ancient remedies to modern healing. The past is a place of reference and not a place of residence. Thank you.
His Excellency Dr. T.M. Mbeki, the former President of the Republic of South Africa and the Chancellor of the University of South Africa, the Vice Chancellor, the Principal of the University of South Africa, Professor Buleng Linkabula, the Acting Vice Principal, Teaching, Learning and Student Support, Dr. Azwi Shibase, the College of Human Sciences Executive Dean, Professor Zerish Ngosi, the Inaugural Professor, Prof. David Mputhi, CHS Management, staff and students, Prof. Mputhi's family and friends, ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. I want to congratulate Prof. Mputhi for achieving the highest level of formal academic development. An inaugural lecture is about setting goals, outlining a vision, and charting a future direction. In his present lecture, Prof. Mputhi has provided us with clear insights into the development of indigenous knowledge systems and their integration into the mainstream. I appreciate that he reminds us that indigenous knowledge systems represent, and I quote, collective wisdom, traditions, and practices passed down through generations, embodying the knowledge of countless communities. I appreciate this because it underscores that IKS is deeply embedded in the philosophy of Ubuntu. This philosophy characterizes all indigenous communities on the continent. Although colonial forces have extensively eroded it, it remains the mainstay of African peoples. Ubuntu must be recovered and preserved as an essential anchor and stabilizer of our communities. I must comment on the circuitous journey that Prof. Mputhi has taken to reach the heights of academic development. It is this that all of us, Black people worldwide, must celebrate. When his journey started in a farm school in the Orange Free State, the heart of brutal oppression and exploitation, the final destination he has now reached would have been described as a pipe dream. And yet, 51 years later, Prof. Mputhi remains stronger, wiser, and continues to share with peers and mentees a vision that will lead the world to a brighter future. We must celebrate this because it confirms the inherent resilience that black people possess, that against all odds, many odds, we have survived and stand upright, unfallen. I want to say to all black people in the land that we should be grateful for the blessings we have received, because while on the surface you might appear to be at the bottom of the ladder, with hindsight, when you look back, you will realize that through the difficulties, a robust and resilient people emerged. Prof. Mputhi is another manifestation of a people honed in fire. I want to emphasize the profound vision that Prof. Mputhi is pursuing for the future, and that is the integration of indigenous health systems into the mainstream. This is a crucial step in recognizing the marginalization of indigenous health systems by a dominant Western framework. His key point that, and I quote, indigenous health systems emphasize prevention rather than cure, and that natural resources were utilized to promote health and prevent disease, is a beacon of hope if developed enthusiastically by academics. This vision is not just important for transformative reasons, as it will contribute to the Africanization of healthcare and medicine. Prof. Mputhi argues that the health of individuals is intricately linked to the health of the community, the environment, and the cosmos, in other words, the universe. This description is the essence of Ubuntu, the common philosophy of all the indigenous people on the continent. Prof. Mputhi's caution about the potential commodification and misuse of indigenous knowledge is in the transformation of the health system is a stark reminder that indigenous communities must be involved in the process of sharing and adapting their knowledge. In other words, Prof. Mputhi advocates for a transdisciplinary mode of knowledge production. This mode of knowledge production is not just a suggestion, it's a necessity. Unfortunately, it is not well understood, and its praxis is often rudimentary because it is not always intentional when the people undertake their research. We must change this. Genuine transdisciplinary collaboration is not just a concept, it is a call to action, it is essential. To illustrate this, I would like to share my own knowledge in this academic sphere. About 3 years ago, I was approached by a community in Umtata to investigate in the laboratory the objective medical value of a plant used by the community to treat people infected with the COVID-19 virus. The community had used the plant, a knowledge passed down through the ages from the ancestors of a chief, to treat respiratory diseases and sometimes hypertension. We collected this plant from the Ngadu forest in Umtata, and it was an involved community involving the university, the community, and as well as the government, because we had to receive permission from the Department of Forestry. We then took the result, the plant for investigation into the laboratory. Our results confirm the observation made by the community. At the time of collecting the plant at the site, a meeting involving the chief, a government official, and me took place. I explained the process we would follow in analyzing the plant and undertook the report, the results to them. and undertook to report the results to them. Let me share the process we followed. This plant, first of all, we had to domesticate, so we used our horticulture center to domesticate it. So a wild plant that was growing in the forest is now growing in a pot plant, a very important step. So we are going to follow a process of commercialization, having done safety studies and also chemical composition of the plant. The next step is now going to be commercialization. A meeting is going to be held here at UNISA next week to discuss with the community the way forward. So we have now reached a significant milestone in this project, and the report back meeting is therefore scheduled for this month. The project produced two critical innovations, but we must ask whether there is a genuine transdisciplinary co-production of knowledge between us and the community, even in this case, where the academic and non-academic interactions have occurred. In transdisciplinary co-production of knowledge, productive interactions are not only relevant for bringing the generated knowledge to fruition, but also for the very generation of the new knowledge. The collaborative nature of the research approach should include, firstly, joint framing of projects and goals, problems and goals. Secondly, it should be constitutive for triggering transformative change, that is, it is formally organized in its design to achieve the aims. Thirdly, it requires relational outcomes, such as increased trust, motivation, joint understanding, and network building. The transdisciplinary knowledge co-production approach is attractive in solving real-world problems and for transformative research and innovation. However, it is necessary to refine the key components and design principles of how to do transdisciplinary research. I am delighted to share that a formal collaboration between the College of Human Sciences and the College of Agriculture and Environmental Sciences is expected to materialize soon. Prof. Mputhi would be a critical contact for the College of Agriculture and Environmental Science in this endeavor. The Executive Dean of CHS, Prof. Zarish Ngosi, and I have expressed an ambition to initiate a significant project that will be truly transdisciplinary, focusing on the Afrocentric model of healthcare designed explicitly for underserved communities. I am looking forward, Prof. Ngosi, to the implementation of this project, and I believe it would revolutionize healthcare, especially in rural communities. In conclusion, I am grateful to Prof. Mputhi for sharing with us his epic journey from childhood to the pinnacle of academic hierarchy. I am certain that all Black people globally will find social resonance with his story. Definitely, South Africans who are still in the grip of racial oppression and exploitation find resonance with his story. The journey from ground zero to the skies via a circuitous path is the story of Black people globally. I want to express a view on this matter, though, because many of us see this as a disadvantage and ask why the Creator allows it to happen. I see it as a blessing in disguise because through this experience, Black people are endowed with unmatched resilience and innate talents. We should embrace it. Here, a boy growing up in one of the most oppressive environments, a farm school, an environment where opportunity is a foreign language. Yet, he stands before us today as an accomplished full professor at an iconic institution, the University of South Africa. It is indeed a cause for great celebration, solemnity, and an occasion of deep reflection. I offer warm congratulations, Prof. Mputhi, and thank you for allowing us to share this moment with you and your family. Your journey, your vision, and your resilience are not just inspiring, they are a testament to the strength and potential of Black people globally. We are grateful for your contributions and look forward to the future you are shaping. Thank you.
Wow, Professor Mputhi. On behalf of Council, Principal, and VC and Senate, it is an honor to welcome Professor Mputhi to the community of academic giants, the community of scholars, community of full professorship. We heartily congratulate you, Prof, on this achievement in your academic career. Thank you for your fascinating and highly Africanizing presentation. Professor Mputhi's lecture was an eye-opener, at least for me. The questions he left us with challenge us to think deeper about the historical context, in particular, the death rate now and before the advent of Western healing. It is also encouraging to know that the two can exist alongside each other. And as colleagues always say, it is always better to have more than one life insurance. So having both the modern and the ancient healing will come in handy and will be beneficial to many of the colleagues around the country. I cannot help but envy the manner in which, Prof, you managed to show us that the traditional and Western healing can indeed live side by side and complement each other without competing against each other. And this is the way we should go if we are to improve our health system, but also the economy. Thank you once more, Prof. Mputhi, and we hope you will continue with your efforts of Africanizing our health systems, but also our curricula. Thanks are also due to Professor Ngosi for her kind introduction of Professor Mputhi to us. Thank you, Professor Ntwasa, for responding to this lecture. And I would like to thank you all who joined us in this ceremony. Please allow me to thank specifically all the colleagues who worked behind the scenes and made it possible for all of us to be here this evening. We thank colleagues from DIA, colleagues from ICT, colleagues from multimedia, colleagues from facility management, colleagues from protection services, colleagues from cleaning services, and colleagues from the colleges. We thank you all. Good evening.